Citizens, what's up? It's President Awall here, bringing you daily Star Wars Force Arena content. This one is going to be a Grand Moff Tarkin deck. I'm starting it straight into a 2v2. Queue times are pretty insane right now for Empire. To try to get a basic 2v2 going, it took me about 4.5 minutes. Had to cancel, had to re-queue at 3.5 minutes here. This deck has your unique card in it. I'm going to show you the whole deck and go over all of the strategy behind it, as well as kind of what I was thinking in terms of how you can use his unique mechanic to make this deck work. But long story short, I want to take it straight into some 2v2 gameplay because this is where I've been the most effective with this deck. And it looks like my AT-ST, I threw up the right lane, got a little bit of traction there, but not too much. And what I'm doing generally is I've got lots and lots of area of effect support cards where I can damage the enemy, I can net them, I can stun them, and I can just generally crush large mobs of stuff. That's generally what you're looking at here with the strategy with this deck. I'm going to go ahead and stun him, as well as do this countdown here with my 400% damage increase. Gonna drop my TK and look at him. Let's see if he hits him with the butt of his rifle. He did not. I deployed him in the wrong place. If he had hit the other unique with the butt of his rifle, it actually is an additional stun. So this deck has 2 stuns in it, and it has multiple area of effect abilities, including Dioxis Grenade, as well as Stun Grenade, as well as Net, which is beautiful, and all of those are kind of working in tandem to be able to just damage large areas, large swaths of characters. And for me, this is working out quite well because I get lots of lag in 2v2, despite how good my internet is, and that's something that you definitely need to be mindful of. So I'm going to go ahead and net everybody together here, and then drop my ability, and then drop Bladesman right behind the enemy hero, just ripping through him like he didn't even exist. That's how that goes down, like he didn't even exist. Okay, drop the TK, watch this. Bam! With the butt of his rifle, look at that damage. Oh, I love it so much. Dioxis Grenade should finish off this enemy hero with that damage over time. And unfortunately, the enemy team's doing a really good job of pressuring our lanes. Gonna drop the AT-ST here on the back line and gonna net them in a little closer. That little bit of extra damage should help out a considerable amount. Looks like they've dropped Mega Mob here on top of all of this. And that's my turn to stun. There it is. And we're going to drop down our ability as well and kill off the remaining mob on the back line, which is exactly what I'm looking to do. Looks like they're trying to get that Cassian snipe on our structure. I think there's my Bladesman there. We'll be able to handle Cassian. Watch him get netted. Well, he wasn't going to be able to escape. But I'm able to control with this deck the positioning of my enemies, as well as whether they can take actions. And also gonna be able to, of course, be able to control their HP with my Dioxis Grenade. It has resulted in me getting 7 straight victories here in 2v2 with this Grand Moff Tarkin deck. I've got 3 support cards, and it is working quite well. Now, obviously, a big asterisk there is that Empire has a distinct advantage in 2v2s at the moment versus 1v1s. In my opinion, I want to know what you guys think. I'm assuming that's why the queue times for 2v2s are so long. So here's the deck itself. If you're not already familiar with Tarkin, his special ability gives you a 50% chance to recover 1 energy off of each of your support cards. So essentially you get a 50, you essentially get 0.5 energy off of whatever you do with your support cards. That's the way I like to think about it. You get a half of an energy discount on support cards. It's a more simple way. Orbital Strike with 400% of your attack power is beautiful. I do have a level 2 Grand Moff Tarkin, so that means that my health is going to be over 1,000, which is beautiful. His attack range is relatively short. His movement speed is pretty average. So as a damage dealer, he's not that great. But his area of effect potential is through the roof. Now, his unique really complements for a large weakness that he has, which is the ability to take down heroes. In TK, if you drop him next to a hero or any number of squad units, he'll smash him with that butt of his rifle, damaging them as well as stunning them. So with this particular deck, I've essentially got 2 stuns, one with TK-7193, and then one, of course, with my straight-up stun grenade, or concussion grenade, or whatever it's called on the Empire side. Really, really nice, unique. Only 2 costs to be able to do that, and this is what I'm talking about, stun grenade. And so, because of the discount, I'm able to get half an energy back, essentially, every single time I use the support card, which means Energy Net only costs half an energy. Dioxis Grenade only costs 1.5 energy, and Stun Grenade only costs 1.5 energy, essentially, whether you got the discount or not. And so this allows you, like I mentioned earlier, for you to gather your enemies together so you can orbital strike them with the net. This allows you to deploy really nice area of effect damage at very low cost with Dioxis Grenade. This allows you to stun and control the enemies, maybe so that you can orbital strike them as well. And it's just a really, really nice balance between the support element and then all of your other essential components you need as an Empire player. ATST is totally necessary to pressure structures because flat out, you don't have that ability with MTV-7 light vehicle, and most likely rebels are going to be mobbing you, and you need to be able to clear out that mob that's attacking your AT-ST walker quickly. With the net, stun grenade, as well as Dioxis Grenade, you should be able to deal with those cards. Mobs coming in on your lane, you know that probe droid is going to get that work done you need for you. I have a hard time seeing how you can play Empire right now against these rebel mob decks without probe droid. Probe droid is 100% mandatory, and of course the bladesmen are essential to taking down those light tanks. The best option that you have for taking down light tanks with a relatively low cost. So you guys might be asking, what do you play if you don't have TK? A great replacement for TK would include Stormtroopers for that nice single target damage and low cost, or you can consider Sandtrooper. Throw Sandtrooper in here, even more area of effect damage, relatively similar cost, big attack power per shot. Sandtrooper is still really, really good and can definitely work with Grand Moff Tarkin. So I'm going to take this into a 1v1 or 2, we'll see, and see how it goes. In 1v1, this deck is not as strong. I've got about a 60 to 70% win rate in 1v1 with this deck. I've got a 100% win rate in 2v2 with this deck. So kind of take this gameplay that you're seeing with a grain of salt. You saw me win the 2v2, 9-second queue time here. So this should be interesting. Much more difficult to pull off Grand Moff Tarkin in 1v1 because he is an area of effect, essentially, caster, essentially. Think of him as a wizard in a traditional fantasy game sense, and he's a caster. He's able to cast a lot of spells. He gets discounts for spells. Think about it like that, which means he's very vulnerable, and the majority of the spells in this game are area of effect spells. And, you know, you are going to have less area to work with, or less area that you need to cover in this game, and you're also going to have less of the kind of like multi-lane mob scenarios in this game. And it looks like, unfortunately, everything did not get netted into the right positioning there a moment ago. So we're going to stun everything so that it stops doing terrible, terrible damage. And they ended up dealing a decent amount of damage in that lane. So we're going to throw AT-ST Walker here in this lane. And I'm going to use my ability on the inevitable mob that he drops down on me. And let's see what it is. And let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to drop down all that terrible, terrible orbital strike damage. Good stuff. Dioxis Grenade should end up helping take care of this mob that he's dropping in the bottom lane. They'll all die before they even get to my structure, which is one of the beautiful things about Dioxis Grenade. Sniping my stuff. Come on. That is in bad taste. That is in very, very bad taste. So let's see if maybe I can get a pick here. Unfortunately, they are not letting me get a pick. And I didn't do that much damage to the bottom structure. As you can see, this deck is not quite as effective in 1v1, but that's fine. And what we'll do is just focus on the structure. We're going to go ahead and stun, actually, the enemy here. And we're going to drop down that area of effect damage. And she dodges very, very handily. Dioxis Grenade it is. And she'll probably die here. We didn't take the structure down, but we now actually have a temporary advantage. And Probe Droid, I need Probe Droid to save me there. Energy Net, come on, let's do it. And stun. Get dead. Get dead. And Bladesman should be able to finish things off in that lane, and we were able to successfully defend, but my top lane is very, very vulnerable to basically the enemy being able to push in. So let's see if we can get that Dioxys off on them. We got it. And TK with the single target damage. If I live, I'll be able to move in here, so Probe Droid should help. And let's see if we can get, there it is, and get energy netted back in here, girl. Yes! All that damage on top of you, stun, and unfortunately they were able to push through and pick up that turret, which means I am maxed out on energy. Huge waste of energy right now, huge waste. Need to drop down my walker as well as my blades and try to pressure this lane. And unfortunately they have a structure up here, and I'm going to try to net them in and stun them and try to take all this stuff out, but they had so much to defend. As you can see, this deck is not as effective in 1v1 as it is in 2v2. There you go. So there's the loss in 1v1. Oof, a big 30-point loss. That's gross. That is so, so gross. Let me see if I can take this deck back into 2v2 and just kind of show you how it's relatively unstoppable there. And I think that you guys will get kind of a good sense of what we're looking at. In terms of what you should be doing with this deck. I'm so close to hitting level 11, and so while we're queuing up for 2v2 here, there's something that I wanted to bring up with you guys. I've been covering a lot of Star Wars Force Arena on the channel, and I'm loving this game. However, I want to make sure that I don't get burned out on this game, and don't get burned out on creating content about this game. And I was thinking about playing other games on the channel, maybe some upcoming games, maybe some games that are already out. My preference would be to do games that have a wide screen, like a horizontal orientation, like this game, and games that have a player versus player element and have a strategy element to them. That's generally the kinds of games I like to cover, and I would like it to be on, of course, mobile. I really, really am digging mobile gaming right now. Throw your suggestions down in the comments below. Throw some links up to the games that you guys would be interested in seeing me cover on the channel. Yeah, like I said, horizontal orientation is really important to me because I'm making YouTube videos. And for example, you see creators out there making Clash Royale videos. A great game. I really like that game. But it's all vertical orientation, which means that 60% of the screen when you're watching Clash Royale creators doesn't have the game on it. For me, that's really, really tough to feel like when I'm creating Clash Royale videos, making a great video for you guys to enjoy. So I want to know what you guys think, what you think are great games out there, ones that I could pick up sometime soon within the next month or so, get relatively good at without spending $500 to $1,000, and get somewhat competitive at, and make some content about it. One game that I was looking at was Planet of Heroes. This queue time. Hopefully it's not too brutal. But I was looking at Planet of Heroes, an upcoming MOBA that's currently in pre-release. Let me know if you guys have been checking that out. I used to play every day Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I kind of stopped playing that game because it's just the grindiest grind that ever grinded. And it is a turn-based strategy game, and I prefer to have something that's got more of a real-time element, which kind of keeps things a bit more exciting. So that is a game that's an option, but that's an old game. That game's been out for years. I'd rather be covering something more fresh on the channel. So let me know. Let me know what you guys are playing other than this game. Do you guys play multiple games, or are you guys exclusively playing Star Wars Force Arena? I'm almost exclusively playing this. I'm just kind of testing other games on the side to see what's out there and to see what's interesting. Yep, that's pretty much the question I wanted to ask you guys. This queue time's pretty brutal, so I'm going to talk quickly a bit more about Grand Moff Tarkin, and I'm going to talk about sort of how Empire versus Rebel balance is going right now. I'd say that the Rebel side is very, very weak in 2v2. And as you can see, this queue time is a direct indication of that. Rebel players are not joining 2v2s because they are getting destroyed. And I think that a big part of that, it isn't just the ATSTs. I think it also has to do with the fact that the Empire side has completely superior counters. And you can focus your counters in 2v2s on what you're going to be seeing a lot of, primarily area of effect cards, and it allows you to counter almost anything Rebel can throw at you. And so when Netmarble is looking, or Mobrium, or whatever it is, I don't know, they've got multiple names of where they're distributing information, is thinking about how they're rebalancing this game, they need to be thinking about 1v1 and 2v2. So the question is, should they have a separate set of balance for 1v1 versus 2v2 or not? Personally, I don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think that 2v2 is ever going to be something that they could really balance unless they had a separate card balance specifically for that mode. And I think that that would make things confusing for them as developers, and that would make things confusing for the community as to why their cards have different power in 2v2 versus 1v1. But a big problem is that if you're going to be balancing the game for 1v1 primarily, because I'm assuming that's the mode that the most people are using right now and probably will be in the future, then that means 2v2 is going to be a secondary mode. And the problem is that you can gain points. You can gain rating points by joining 2v2s and by grinding out 2v2s. And right now, if I wanted to grind, and I might just do this because I want to get more ranking points, right? I want to move up the ladder consistently. If I just play Empire over and over and over again, this deck exclusively, even if the queue times are 4, 5, whatever minutes, I will consistently move up the ladder. I'll be 3,700, 3,800, 3,900, just grinding out this particular mode with this particular configuration and just destroying people on the ladder and, just wrecking rebels that are trying to have a good time and are trying to figure out how they can make their deck viable and how they can make their faction viable in 2v2, and unfortunately the balance of the game does not allow for it. So let me know what your thoughts are on 2v2. Have you guys found any viable strategies for Rebel in 2v2 or not? And post them in the comments below if you have found some viable strategies. But please indicate in that comment what rating you are at, because I think there's different tiers, like lower tier, mid tier, upper high tier, which is where I'm at, and like highest tier, which is above me. There's different types of meta within each one of those, and you're going to see lots of different strategies coming from each. Of course, the meta for each tier is going to be dictated by the decks that the people see at the very, very top, or what decks they see people showing off in videos on channels like mine. But at the same time, I think I remember as I was moving up the ladder rapidly, the meta shifted very, very quickly. And the sorts of things that you guys mentioned that you're running into on the ladder, I don't run into ever. So I think based on your skill and based on your rating, that's going to kind of change the way that... there it is. Thank God. Finally got a freaking battle. And here we go. Let's see if we can make something happen here. This is definitely going to be the last game I do in this video. I just rambled. I guess I had a lot to tell you. I just rambled for quite a while. But let me know in the comments below if you're able to make Rebel work in 2v2. I do get beat by Rebel sometimes. Sometimes they do double light tank, like they're probably going to try to throw double light tank in this lane. Here it is. And I just need to throw my probe droid here to slow it down. Going to drop TK next to that enemy hero and going to stun her. Then I'm going to Dioxis grenade her. And everyone is going to die. And so that was a pretty effective defense there. Meanwhile, Vader just completely wrecked up that bottom lane. And now I've got 6 energy I can play with, which is beautiful. So we're going to drop Bladesman right behind her. We're going to net her in and pull her in here. Yeah, sure, you have grenades, but those grenades will not save you, my friend. And so let's see if we can kind of get in the game here and move this ATST up the lane. And let's see if they do have a structure here, so I'm going to drop my orbital strike on top of all of it. Going to Dioxis this, going to throw TK here, and it looks like I died, which is fine. We've got all 3 of our structures. I did about half damage on that structure. Looked like my ally dropped an Imperial Jump Trooper in the game there. Unfortunately, I don't have my energy action, and double stun! Just look at the area of effect. I'm a freaking space wizard. I'm a freaking space wizard. And look at this. He hits the tank with the butt of his gun. TK hits the tank with the butt of his gun. He's like, come here, tank. Bam! I'm gonna knock you unconscious. I'm gonna knock you unconscious, inanimate object that is powered by fuel. I don't know. Whatever. I think that's funny. Let me know if you guys think it's funny. Okay, gonna drop down the orbital strike here. Oh, terrible, terrible area of effect damage. Empire. So powerful. So gross. I don't know, guys. I might just have to spam Empire on 2v2s, man. I'll be like Kyber in like a week. A week tops, I'll be Kyber. Okay, cool. So let's get in the game here. So there looks like they're trying to focus down this structure. It's not working. Gonna drop TK here to clear out this structure. The Grenadier's not going to be able to help. And let's see what we can do. Energy net. Everybody get in here. Get Dioxis grenaded and get stunned. And there it is. And I don't think my ATST is going to be able to push all the way in. And it looks like my ally is just kind of letting his lane die, which is interesting. So let's see if the orbital strike works. Everybody get in the net. Yes. Everybody took so much damage there. And bottom lane went down. Uh-oh. 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 I don't want this to happen. Gotta ATST up the lane here. Gotta take down the enemies. Let's drop TK. Let's just get in the game here. Looks like my ATST is marching in on their base. And I need to protect this bottom structure. And I'm gonna drop everything I need to make that happen. And there it is. There's the W. Empire so superior 2v2. Anyway, that's the deck. I'll throw it up on the screen one more time for you guys to check it out. This is the most effective 2v2 deck I have ever used. I have very rarely run a 2v2 deck that has a 100% win rate outside of what I was showing you on the channel at pre-release. Here it is. Grand Moff Tarkin, TK unique combo. Obviously, ATST is completely mandatory for Empire. The probe droid has to be there to stop that momentum of those big mobby pushes. Those are my 3 support spell or support card options that I like, and I think Bladesman, in my opinion, is completely mandatory for taking out light tanks. That's the deck. Throw my avatar up on the screen. Click that to subscribe, and thank you to everyone who's enabled notifications. If you have not, you are missing out on the majority of my videos. That's the way YouTube works now. If you don't enable notifications, you miss almost all the videos from your favorite YouTubers. That's just the way the platform's designed. Click those videos to watch more of my awesome Star Wars Force Arena content, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye. I mean, adios. Yes, adios.